The Chargers took Daiyan Henley in the 3rd round. So now that makes 2 LA locals in a row. Tuli Tuipulotu in the 2nd round, who went to USC, and now Daiyan Henley, who was born and raised in LA and went to Crenshaw High School. Now I love this pick, and Tommy T didn't mess it up in the 3rd round. So let's get 2 claps for Tommy T as we get into this breakdown. First thing you got to know about Daiyan Henley, he spent 4 years at Nevada, and he was a pretty slow developer, nothing special there, until he transferred to Washington State. And I don't know what they're feeding those guys over there, what's in the water, but that is when he started to turn those NFL scouts' heads. He just went to another level. His stats that year were 5 sacks, 18 pressures, 40 run stops, 3 forced fumbles, and his greatest asset, 74 tackles last year, and had a 5.2% missed tackle rate, which is much better than Tuli Tuipulotu. So maybe he can come in right away and help Tuli out a little bit in that regard. Henley is such a great tackler that he had an elite PFF grade at 90.3, and he's a former wide receiver. And that shows specifically when he drops back into coverage, which he did quite a bit last year. He has really fluid movements, especially for a linebacker. He is so athletic and fast, and this is obviously the Drue Tranquill replacement. And he's more athletic than Tranquill was, so we're getting faster and younger at this position. And on top of that, Drue Tranquill was our leading tackler last year, and he was not as good of a tackler as Daiyan Henley is right now. And I'm going to call it right now. I'm calling it. He is going to be the leading tackler on the Chargers next season. I'm placing that bet. Daiyan Henley is more of a will linebacker than a Sam linebacker. He's got really great speed. He's pretty good at diagnosing plays, and he has really good change of direction. Think of him like a Kaiser White kind of linebacker. Now, where he struggles is in zone coverage sometimes because he doesn't get enough depth and allows the routes behind him to have enough space to get the ball in there and make a play. Also, I've seen a few wheel routes that he's given up because he's just kind of slow to recognize those sometimes. The biggest thing though that he needs to improve on is that physicality. He needs to be more physical because he struggles in the box as a stacked defender. He gets washed out of gaps sometimes because he can't anchor himself down and hold that ground. But you know what? He is so athletic that he can learn that technique and hopefully develop into a better run defender and give up less ground in that regard. He's got a lot of room to grow, and this is the type of player that can actually grow and work on those weaknesses. But the thing that I love the most about Daiyan Henley's game is the fearlessness that he plays with that very few players in the NFL have. Guys like Derwin James have this kind of fearlessness that Daiyan plays with, and I cannot wait to see Daiyan Henley come in, play that weak side linebacker. You got Kenneth Murray on Sam, and then you got that physicality, that athleticism with those 2 linebackers, and then on the edge you got Joey Bosa over here. You got Khalil Mack over here. Whoa! And now fun fact time, PFF had him as the 59th best prospect. We got him at 85. I cannot wait to see what Brandon Staley does with this defense next year. He's going to have so much room for creativity. There's so much more room for activities. I think the general consensus among Chargers fans is that Tommy T just hit this one out of the park because we weren't expecting much in the 3rd round anyways. I mean, we get guys like Craig Mager all the time in the 3rd. And now we're getting this guy who by all means looks to be probably the best 3rd round pick that Tommy T has ever had. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th round of this draft. It's going well so far. Let's see how it continues.